It is December 26, 2023. Again today. Endless. Endless. I have re-emailed all the law enforcement that I could think of, the Department of Justice, CIA, NSA, showing where more cases are being sold. Where I reported mine being sold years ago, now that Agents is selling to the Mexican drug cartel, they're live streaming witness protection programs. So what they're doing to me, they can do it to the other people they're supposed to protect. Um, I sent that in. I also sent a statement of my ex-husband that the weird text messages of feeling like he's a 16-year-old boy. No man talks like that. That is a girl sending that. And it's probably that Lauren or Michelle or one of the other drug bees in that cartel. I told the police how much life insurance he had on him, and how he had bought that prostitute. Oh, I looked it up in Japan. It is illegal to exchange money for a bride. They cannot pay any money for her. You go to jail. Where my son Danny said he bought her. And what kind of pathetic person has to pay for someone? And what kind of pathetic person sells herself? And he didn't even know who she was until 2 days before their marriage, 2 or 3 days. It was already arranged. I'm telling you, I even think the drug cartel, she was a special order, that he went over on false pretenses, married her, brought her back for the drug cartel. They probably drugged him up, and that's why he was talking irrationally. And wouldn't listen, and was saying all kinds of crazy stuff, and supposed to be heading back for Japan. I don't even think he left the country. I don't even think he made it to the airport. Because all he had to do is sign that everything over to that girl or somebody else. And my kids would never know he's dead. They think he's in Japan living his life with that prostitute he bought like a puppy. Okay? And that's where I keep going over this. I think that they harmed him for that life insurance policies. Because he only had in actual cash, the only thing he had was his retirement fund. I got half, which was $25,000 5 years ago. The most it could be in there is 30 to 35. So, and then you got to pay taxes on it. Huh? And that's not going to pay for a prostitute, someone selling themselves, and a wedding, and to stay over there, and to bring them back, let alone to fly over there and live. He has no income coming in. And his accounts are bouncing. I don't believe he even made it to the airport. Because, they show stuff like this on 2020. That people go to sell themselves online, and these lonely men go over and buy them. They have them sign everything, drug them up, have them sign everything over to them, make up excuses that they're leaving town so their kids don't find them, and then they end up dead, and until somebody finds their body. The Black Widow killed him and went on. But I think it's a drug cartel. Where they have been bragging even in Walmart that the cartel killed him for their men going to jail, and we're blaming them. And they yelled it out in Massillon that it was Henry that killed him. Nobody's physically talked to my ex-husband since November 21st, 2023. It's been over a month. Weird text message of stuff that sounds like girl crap. It's probably one of the drug bees. And like I told my daughter-in-law, what he did is 100% human trafficking. He'll get arrested for it. I said, you cannot pay for a human being. It's illegal. And she tried to make up excuses. Oh, they know. And I said, that's not what Danny said. Danny said he bought her online. And he only met her a couple days before the wedding. That is human trafficking. And he illegally brought her back to the United States. He didn't go through Homeland Security. I said, he will go to jail for human trafficking. She's like, boy, he didn't think this one out. I said, no, he didn't. And you don't realize the crimes he was messed up in. She's like, oh, I know he was messed up in crimes up there. Then why didn't the police arrest him? That's a good question. Because I reported him being messed up in crimes. Why didn't they arrest him? I know they went after their big drug dealers they were getting all the drugs from. I told her that the sheriffs and marshals used my case. And they went after their big drug suppliers, and they got quite a few of them. She just looked at me. I said, you did know that he was dating an 18-year-old blonde girl named Michelle when we first moved up there while we were married. When we first moved in the house. She went, I said, well, you know that Pete's her dad. I said, did you know Dixie knew who they were? I said, you know how I had all those bruises, throwing up and almost passing out? That was him drug beating me. And supposed to drug me up and told me to say weirdo stuff. Where that Eric made fun of everybody, that everything was him, and he photoshopped everything, the washing scene in the other room. What they did is the very least, and even the investigator said, they should have went to jail for sextortion. It's automatic 12 to 15 years. Anytime you're in somebody's home, it is sextortion. Police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements. There's nothing else. Otherwise, it's sextortion. Or entrapment if the police do it. It's illegal. I said, Nixon couldn't buck an office. He got impeached. Nobody can be in your inner home, or inner office or home. You go to jail for it. Her mouth dropped open. I said, instead of arresting them, they went after their drug dealers. I said, their fake sodium pentothal reports, their roofie confessions where I had bruises and throwing up and almost passing out. They're supposed to show me weirdo stuff, where they're supposed to put the shower scene in the other room to make me look weird. I said it was done by Dave's girlfriend's dad, Pete, in the drug cartel, the Florida drug cartel. I said, remember all those Florida plates that were here and all the human traffickers? It was them. I said, you know the guy that tried to kidnap me in front of Terry? She's like, yeah. I said my house manager's niece was taken by him. She's like, what? Oh, I said, and my other coworker, they dismembered her family member. They dismembered her. She's like, yuck. I said, yeah, and they had people laugh in her face. I said, you don't understand the amount of crimes he was messed up there. And I've tried to tell you over the years, and that's where, or I've tried to tell you before, the kind of crimes he was messed up in. And that's why he's running. Their drug suppliers have been arrested. That's why he's running. And when he brought that girl back here, it's human trafficking. He can't just go buy some girl and a mail order bride and actually pay for her and not know her and arrange wedding and then illegally bring her back to the United States. That's human trafficking. 100% human trafficking. It's slavery. You pay for someone. Well, they didn't know something. I said, that's not what Danny said. He paid for her. And when you pay cash for somebody, that's slavery. And you go to jail for it. She's like, he didn't think this one out. I said, he comes back to the United States. He will be arrested. I said, he can't just smuggle that girl in here. She has to be approved through Homeland Security. You know, it takes like almost a year. One of my coworkers, she takes care of this one couple that's out of country. And she started talking to their son and video chatting. They started a relationship, and he finally proposed. And it's been over 6 months of working with Homeland Security, and she's acting like it'll be another 4 before he can even come in the United States to prove they have a relationship. You have to prove it to him that you're not smuggling a human being in here for prostitution or a terrorist. You can't just go off buy somebody online, marry them, and smuggle them in the United States. Go to jail for that. And I told her, I said, that Pete and that Michelle were in with the Florida group. The Latinos, the M13s. I said, the Mexican drug cartel. The human traffickers selling people. That's where I was covered in bruises, throwing up, heart racing, where that Eric made fun of everyone. He was part of their drug game. Photoshopping the washing, them roofing me, so you're sleepwalking and telling me some weirdo stuff. That's why they laughed at people. I said it was a big sextortion scheme. So the sheriffs and marshals went after the big drug dealers, and they got a lot of them. That's probably why he's running. But I'm going to tell you what. There's things on 2020 where black widows get people to marry them, bring them back in, drug them up, have them sign stuff over to them, and then have their family drug them up and tell them to tell their family they're leaving. And then until somebody finds their body, they don't even know they're dead. I honestly think that where she was selling herself online, she was probably a special order. There was quite a few special orders. They would talk about them around me. They said they wanted a 5'3", 135 blonde girl. They took a 15-year-old kid. It was online. Special outfit. Probably had Dave go marry her under false pretenses, small girl or back hair. And they're either running with the drug cartel or the drug cartel did kill him. And they took that girl. And he signed everything over to them, and they don't even know it. Because why wouldn't you take your clothes? See, that's where the whole point of it is. What money is he living on? He doesn't have any. See, we set it up with us buying. We were married 33 years. We're buying a $200,000 retirement home. I'm 51 and he's 60. If he dies, I don't want to be homeless. So I got a small insurance policy on the house. If he dies, it's paid off. Okay? Then I figured out with the car and the truck, then a burial plot for me and him, and then our bills, and then for me to have money to live on for the next 20, 30 years, I put $375 in life. Okay? That's all he has is life insurance policies. He only had a little bit of money. Everything else was debt. Get it? And he would go around telling people, even in McDonald's, I'm worth over 500 grand dead. My kid's like, don't tell people that. Why? They don't get it. You know why you don't tell people that? Because people get rid of your wife so they can kill you for the insurance money. I've told the police and other agencies, nobody's actually physically talked to him, and they're getting weird text messages. They need to ping his phone. And see, I don't even believe he's got on an airport. I don't believe he's left the United States. And I honestly believe they harmed him. For the life insurance policies. I believe that girl was a special order. And see, that's where that agent, where this has been nothing but drug dealers fighting over this area. The beginning of the case, they said it was a bet between two gentlemen. And then said a bunch of bets they had. Okay? Winner takes all. This whole thing is a bet. They're drug lords. Okay? It was a bet. Okay? They're using her as a pawn. They even said that. Okay? And then they say crazy stuff. That's where a week ago, Thursday, this last Thursday, I am in Walmart, 62, by 8, 9 in the morning. I go in there and some little kid said, Will said we're supposed to yell, where, and she's like, don't you dare say that. They made all that up on her. This whole thing has been two drug lords fighting it out, and they used her as a pawn so they could fight in front of people. And she didn't know it, and nobody's mad at her, and everything before was them, and it was a setup so that they could fight in front of people. This whole thing was nothing but a setup, and she didn't know what was going on and what they were doing and why they were doing it to her. And it was a scam for them to be able to fight in front of people, and they could who would win this area. The one drug lord went to jail, so the other drug lord won. The fentanyl king went to jail. Okay, and the drug cartel's not even mad at her because she didn't understand what they're doing and why they were doing it. Okay, and it was just a big pawn. And the drug cartel came back and killed her ex-husband for hiring him, and their men going to jail. And so they came back and killed him. Nobody's to say a word to her. Okay. Later that day, I went and worked at up in Akron. This Middle Eastern looking guy and his little kid. He looks up at me and smiles. And he said, it's funny what's going on. It's finally got funny. Nobody ever can say a word to Karen again. Dave's gone forever. Okay. The guy looks back and smiles at his kid and said, the king said he told his men that they better make sure nothing happens to her when she's out, or he'll take care of them. See, that's where people sat around me. Okay. A group of guys looked Middle Eastern, big, huge guys in front of the cops, for we all work for the king from Texas. He sent his men here to watch her. We're the ones doing this, okay? You're a dumbass, you're an idiot. Dave hired us. The king sent his men here to take care of you, okay? In front of the cops. Another group of men came up, for we all work for the king. He didn't think it was funny what was happening here. He told his men they better make sure nothing happens when she's out, or he'll take care of him himself. The king thinks she's amazing, standing up, trying to protect her family against all this. And those men better make sure nothing happens to her when she's out. That's where January 19th, there's two teams. One for you, one for Dave. Walmart 62. Good at one, something good in one aisle and bad in another. You could actually see where there's two different sets of men. One harassed me, one's trying to protect me. Okay? Because there was two kings. Alright. So, two drug lords. Now the M13 Mexican drug cartel, the Florida group, they work for Pete. The Latinos that showed up said they work for Pete. They're part of the Florida Human Traffickers, the Gentlemen's Club from Florida, the Henry Mafia, the Detroit Boys that said they were involved, and that they were selling human beings and they were killing people. Okay, that's where Pete, Michelle, Alex, the white hair guy with his hair parted on the side, is supposed to be the one that bashed me in the back of the head, stabbed me in the neck, and I actually have a dent in the back of my head. On 12/21/18 in protective custody. I found out that is my ex-husband, his girlfriend Michelle, that Pete's daughter, that the one that sick family was stalking me and my family. He was selling us on porn sites, even the kids using the bathroom. I found out, and the photoshopping of showering in the other room, and where I was waking up with bruises or getting sick on Diet Coke. And I would throw up and get dizzy, and hours would pass and have bruises I couldn't explain, and the severe personal infection. I thought the well water was irritating my skin. And here I'm being drug beaten, raped, and drugged up and told to say stuff under roofies so you're sleepwalking. They're fake sodium pentothal reports and stocking tapes done by the drug cartel in a drug scam. Okay? That's where Eric, one of the drug dealers, made fun of everybody and went and confessed everything was him and not me. November 18th, 22. That sick family doing that to me. And a big sex extortion scheme. They should have been arrested the first day. See, there's real people behind this real evil scam. But the Mexican drug cartel, they have committed heinous crimes here. My one coworker, Lori, they dismembered her family member and had people laugh in her face. My house manager, Marlisa, the 5th anniversary came up of where they took her on Christmas Day. And it's the same guy that tried to kidnap me in front of Terry. If that agent would have done his job and listened to me when I tried to tell him he tried to kidnap me before and found out who he was and got him, Marlisa's niece would be alive today. And so would others. Because like they told Marlisa, he was part of the drug traders, human trafficking people out of this area. He's a tall white man with black hair and Latino descent. See, where I told that agent that one stalker, he's not even the kidnapper. The one stalker, the what a shame guy, he had an eagle tattoo. Eagle tattoos are the sign of the M13. They're the Hail El Salvador. I did some research on them. That and the dots around the eyes. These are gang tats. He would have known that. See, that's where, what was it, December 14th, 23, 4:45 p.m., McDonald's on North Main across from Acme. He walks out after I go through the drive-thru and I pull over and brags that he set me up for a day that no one had ever helped me and he took my money. That's where people were even complaining last Thursday. We all knew this has been nothing but a drug war between those two drug lords. And she didn't know what was going on, and that's why nobody had talked to her. And that agent saying that he was in it with Dave, and he set her up, and it was nothing but a drug war between two drug lords, using her as a scam. That's not even funny. He said he would even be in it with Dave. It's not even funny he would say that. People have said for over a month that someone needs to get an arrest warrant for Will. I looked it up. FBI agents arrested for obstruction and tampering with witnesses and evidence. There's about 5 pages right off the bat, including some just a few months ago. They can never tell anybody not to believe somebody and not to help them. They can't put a gag order on somebody. They go to jail. I've talked to the Tuscarora sheriffs. I've talked to other sheriffs. I've talked to a criminal attorney. They don't have the authority to ask you to stay quiet. He was only bullying me. And that's it. He doesn't have that kind of authority. They arrested a whole bunch of other agents for trying crap with people. They're only cops. They're higher police officers, and that's it. It takes a judge to put a gag order on you. No, they can't tell you not to say anything. In my unique case, on a recorded line, he already confessed. He had the Vegas in his office. The church people then made fun of me for Pete framing me and how I didn't know. Instead of him arresting Pete for being a rapist and running a sex extortion scheme, he made fun of the victim being framed. Like they said, when they released the recorded line where they sold the login of those agents mocking me. And they do confess that they talked to the Vegas, the church people. They made fun of me for some guy named Pete framing me and how I didn't know. Even teenagers in North Canton, the FBI made fun of her for being human trafficked. The FBI made fun of her for being drug beat and raped because she didn't know what was happening to her because they were using amnesia drugs. They need to arrest those idiots. Told you, even Louisville kids. The FBI betrayed her. Mennonite children in New Philly. The FBI let her live through all that and didn't even pay her. Everybody turned him in. Do you know why all those other agents went to jail? Because people turned him in. There was a sheriff in Ohio took $100,000 from the drug cartel. Took a lot of people to turn him in. Just go online; they'll never call you. Department of Justice, submit a complaint. Drop down to human trafficking. The last little bar is a little blue line. Online report. Just report them. CIA contact. NSA contact. Trust me, they wanted all those other dirty FBI agents. They don't want dirty cops stealing from victims and then selling technology. I reported my case being sold years ago, and then it was on Google that the Mexican drug cartel is live streaming informant cases that the government's trying to protect them. Well, Will sold him the technology. He probably stole those people's money too. He's not funny. And these people running around, you know, over the weekend, I went to do a load of laundry. There was a girl in there. So I start talking to her about everything, including let her feel the dent in the back of my head. She's like, oh. Then I tell her about Michelle and Pete. She's like, oh. I see. I don't think people realize how disgusting Michelle and Pete sound. You actually listen to what they did. People walked into Kohl's today. That sick family, what they did to her, nobody better say a word. A drug bitch has her drug bitch father and friends stalk me. And my family sell us on porn sites. People are like, sell my grandkids using the bathroom on porn sites. I want you to think about that. Me showering and put it in the other room in this extortion scheme trying to get me in trouble for them photoshopping something like that. That or breaking in and roofing me and my Diet Coke while I'm out of the room, or stabbing me with a date rape drug and telling me to say weirdo stuff, and beating me and raping me. Do you realize how mentally ill they are? And people make fun of me for being their victim? They should have been arrested the first day. Even an investigator said, what was that agent thinking? Anytime that you say you're in somebody's home, it's automatically sextortion. Automatically sextortion. And that's the very least with them, because we got drugs, human trafficking, kidnapping, assault with a deadly weapon, kiddie porn. They had life in federal. That sick, satanic family running sextortion schemes on people. And then they made fun of the FBI June 7th, 23, how they're supposed to fool them. I don't even believe they fooled them. Because I've talked to sheriffs out of this area and a criminal attorney. You're sleepwalking with date rape drugs. They already know about them. They're under somebody else's control. And you can Photoshop everything from scenes to words to anything. Yeah. Another thing. Maybe and maybe not. There was this man, Michael Peterson, on Farmers. Started texting me about being a retired doctor from Italy. I thought, what do you want to do with me? Then started talking and how he's a widow. Thought probably a setup from Dave. Okay. Then he starts talking about church and volunteering, and I start getting information on his church. Then he's into just real estate, and I told him a little bit what happened. He's like, I'd give you a permit, wouldn't even ask anything out of it, just get you out of that area. And I feel horrible those people did anything to you. And then he just seemed really nice. Okay. And then it got weird. He started talking about doing real estate with Muslim countries. Red flag. Then he's going to buy an oil field. If you can afford an oil field, you can afford young and beautiful. What do you want with me? And then he said he was doing with Venezuela. I looked it up. And then Trakasami. Well, I looked up Trakasami. He's wanted by our government for human rights, like human trafficking, rape, torture, drugs. And you can't, then he's saying he's going to buy into an oil tanker and bring it back to the U.S. You can't. We have an embargo against it. So I told ICE on him. Right? He had a weird email, King David something. Okay? His name's supposed to be Michael. And then I got when he was going to leave from Venezuela, the airport, and just different things that I could get from him before I stopped talking to him. Just in case, and right before he left, some lady, when he answered the phone, I heard in the background, "Hi, Karen." It's funny, she doesn't know what's going on. Phone went black, like dark, And then all of a sudden, he got on the phone, "Hi, darling." It's like, when are you leaving for Venezuela? It's like, I'm so tired of men trying to kill me. Not knowing if he's involved or if he was just another drug dealer trying to pull a scam. But there is a second drug lord. When I left Bueller's up off of 619, when that guy was talking about that king saying that his men better make sure nothing happens to her. I went to leave and people are saying, "Look at all those vehicles swarming here. We heard it's some drug lord watching her." And then we still have the Mexican drug cartel here. And they're trying to take over. And these people need to be afraid. And they're hiring all these low-life idiots to run around barking at their victims. The U.S. citizens know you have a right to privacy. President Nixon tried to bug out office, got impeached. He was president, he couldn't. So why would some drug cartel bitch and her dad be allowed to? They wouldn't. Police and agencies can only be in a home under threat of life with statements. All the police will tell you, the prosecutor's office, criminal attorney, nobody had a right in my home. Outside that protected life case with statements, it's entrapment. Or sextortion, take your pick. Either way, it's jail time. And you can't look at it and everything's digital, let alone it was done by the drug cartel in a sextortion scheme. They should have been arrested. The shower scene in the other room, they already admitted it. May 12th, 22, May 26th, 22, of the tapes being done on purpose and finding tapes of them admitting it. March 1st to 3rd of 21, 8 to 10:30 at night, they were outside breaking with the neighbors. They put clips together, made it a porn. Then they were kept describing things that didn't happen. It's like, that sounds like showering. Then laughing at me, ha ha ha. She figured out what they did. That's where June 7th, 23, they made fun of the FBI for falling for it. Walmart 62 and November 18th, 22, Eric, one of the drug dealers, bragging that everything was him and not me. They have made fun of the feds. They made fun of all these people for the big fools they are. And they're the butt of their jokes. But do they quit? No, they're stupid. And being U.S. citizens, they know they have the right to remain quiet, right to an attorney, a right to privacy, and they know they have a freedom of speech. Do you know I had some drug addict pull up? Will said she wasn't allowed to say anything. Well, you know what? Will already told on me, and he doesn't have that kind of authority. Even a criminal attorney, he doesn't have that kind of authority. Last year on the news, some agent tried to tell an informant they couldn't say anything. Press ripped him a new one. That agency ever brags, one agent ever telling anybody to say they can't say anything, they better shut them down. They're just law enforcement. They're only police officers. They don't have that kind of authority. It takes a judge to put a gag order on you. Freedom of speech. So he's just bullshitting everybody. And then in my case, he's already seen by the Norton Barberton police telling on me at that church. He's already witnessed me meeting with my ex-husband by the church people and the police. Dave said, told our son Danny, you talked to him when I walked off. Right? And then on a recorded line, he commits life in federal. I tell him that someone told on me the night before. After I called the hotline, they drugged me up so bad I couldn't get out of bed for a few days, and then I finally made myself get up. Called Sarah, asked her to witness for me, went down and dropped where he left his name and number in a voicemail. Put it in a car, dropped it off at the mall, went up to Apostolic Church of Barberton. He's telling on me. Okay? And Pamper's yelling at Dave, and I walk off, and that's when he's supposed to walk up to him and talk to him. Okay? He told Danny to talk to him. And the police were out there witnessing it, and 300 to 500 people. Okay? I told him someone told on me the night before. Calls me a liar. I tell him about the guy that threatened to knife me at Giant Eagle. He calls me a liar. I told him he tried to kidnap me in front of Terry. He calls me a liar. There's badgering laws, Department of Justice 1729. They have to take your statement if they believe you or not and follow through. Otherwise, it's obstruction to justice, tampering with evidence, and tampering with witnesses. It's automatic jail time. He had already dismembered my coworker. Lori's family member went on to take Marlisa's niece. He's part of the serial killers. He let a serial killer go on purpose. I try to tell him about that he really did try to kidnap me before. Terry let me tape her with her permission. He's calling me a liar and screaming about some camera above the bench. You don't know, you better say you're lying, I'll put you in jail. It's like, fine, whatever, ha. Then he tells me, why don't you say you were faking your sick before? It's a documented medication error. Almost killed me after surgeries. Okay? Documented. I tell him I really was sick before. I had that family in my office, the Vegas. The ones that paid for these people to show up here because they want to be serial killers. Okay? And the church people in my office, and you need to realize what you've done. He took all the hurt and pain of her father running a stop sign into a semi, and me and my whole family is at home. And because a minister made up a shitty lie on me 6 months later that had nothing to do of you were faking through the last 4 years. Yeah, right. He thought I caught his son in adultery, made up a shitty lie. And that agent saying I had the church people in my office and that family. That was a 15-year-old lie. It wasn't even recent. It was a 15-year-old lie. And a stupid baby lie on top of it. Took all their hurt and pain of her father running a stop sign into a semi and put it on me. You need to realize what you've done with thinking you were sick. I've listened to those people crying. They're bullshitting him. Playing him like a fiddle. I had nothing to do with that kid's death. Her father ran a stop sign into a semi in front of a whole bunch of church people. My whole family's at home. And I was almost well before that. I'd been working with another doctor for 7 months at that point. It took me another 2 months to get well. And another 2 more months before I got all the way well, and 4 months to get off the fentanyl patches. It's a documented medication error, and documented medical malpractice almost killed me. You know what I mean? And him involving himself in religious heresy, he just confessed he had the Vegas and the church people in his office on the recorded line. And you either say you're faking you're sick, or I'll leave you there. And it's like, but they'll kill me. They've tried to kill me. You either say it or I'll leave you there, but they'll kill me. Then say it. Fine, whatever. Just don't let them kill me. Ha. Why would that be? I help a person like you. Well, they're going to try to kill me. So apostolics can kill people? Oh, come on. They've tried to kill me. So give me a real reason. The other guy yells out, well, we could use Pete's tape, but weird with yourself. The shower scene of washing in the other room. Washing in the other room. The sexual predator that was stalking me, drug beating, raping me. Where his daughter's dating my husband behind my back, and I don't even know about either one of them. And I'm waking up with bruises, throwing up, heart racing, almost passing out, and a severe swollen personal infection. The rapist and the drug cartel that had been framing me in a sextortion act of photoshopping washing, that guy, he didn't rest for doing that to me. Hmm? I don't even know who Pete is for a year. I thought I had cancer. I'll be honest, I thought I had cancer. And I thought the well water was eating my skin. And I had already lost 18 pounds from them inducing vomiting from all the drugs they were pumping in me. I get sick on Diet Coke, and I would wake up with marks that looked like injection marks. And I didn't know what was happening to me. It's not funny, those federal police officers making fun of a rape victim being scammed. And I'm like, what is he talking about? Because you got to think, if somebody's acting like they're washing in another room, it's a 911 call. Someone's delusional. They've hit their head. They're having a seizure, a stroke, or someone's drugged them, and they don't know where they're at and what they're doing. It's a 911 call. No one called 911 and nobody knew about it. So, then he said something else about Pete. Now, I've still never talked to him. I didn't even know who he was for a year. It's supposed to be some kind of roofie confession. I went, what is he talking about? And the only Pete I knew was my brother in Medina. And I said, what? And stop. She don't know. And they're laughing at me for this man victimizing me. Dave told Danny he hired Pete on his own. His girlfriend's dad in the drug cartel running a drug scam on me. Pete's not the second drug lord, is he? Because who's the second drug lord? Because they already got the fentanyl king. All right. And he's laughing at me. Stop, you don't know. So he just confessed he had the Vegas in his office to church people and made fun of me for a hired hitman Mike's husband hired on his own, his girlfriend's dad. So he's talked today. His own words. Why would you stay quiet? He just confessed. Give me a real reason. Well, my brother-in-law, Craig, was actually CIA. I describe him. He offers to take me somewhere and leave me. And then I don't have money to start. And then he offers me the informant program, money and immunity. And even when you tell, we'll always put it back as if it never happened. You can't be legally charged for anything again for working this case. And admit to no wrongdoing, I'll take care of everything and then. But if you try to tell someone, I'll list you crazy. Do you know that people that have the case, they said it when they hear what happened? Will's voice goes across the thing. No man's to ever help her. Turn him in. He's bullshitting you. He's obstructing justice, tampering with evidence while he's stealing from victims and embezzling money. He's like the other dirty federal officers, the 5 pages of them that have got arrested, including this last year, for trying to pull fast ones on informants. He's trying to pull a fast one because he thinks you're all low educated. Go online and turn him in. The more people you turn him in, he'll go to jail faster. He can't even ask you to stay quiet. And he, like they said, he stole my money on the first day. And he's selling government technology to the Mexican drug cartel. Turn the dirty cop in. Everybody. I got some freak, some old woman pulling in different times of the week, putting her headlights between 3 and 4 in the morning into my apartment. Her freaky son's out front of my apartment. Did you find a way to get in to take care of her? Like a gang murder, bring your mama to it? What kind of fuckheads do that? And they're running around town. Oh, she's supposed to be weird with her. It's a shower scene in a sextortion scheme. Are you fucking kidding me? Some lady, I was in the laundromat, I was telling her about that drug bitch. She's going, ew, ew,
Oh, they did what to you? See, when people actually start thinking of what they did to me, people scowl and go, ew. Your ex husband's girlfriend was stalking you? Taping you and your family, selling them on porn sites? Oh, exactly. Huh? Had her dad break in and roofie drinks out of the room? Beat and rape you? Her and his drug friends? She did what to you? Drugged you up and told you to say what and you never talked to anybody? Photoshopped a washing scene? You're kidding. Then you let him feel the back of your head where they eventually bashed you in the head and stabbed you in the neck. You got a big dent. It's like the size of a hammer. There's an outer ring and then an inner ring. Where they crushed my skull in. They could have killed me. I had migraines for 2 years. That's why I stutter when I get upset. See, that's where some lady was walking around Dollar General. Somebody was down here saying she's weird with herself. And blah, 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 blah. That girl was in there talking to her and said it was some drug bitch. And her dad and her friends doing it to her. Selling her family on porn sites. Drugging her up with roofies and telling her to say stuff. Them photoshopping that as a washing scene, I don't doubt it. Nobody better say a word to her. Exactly. Besides, you went online and you reported this so that they get arrested. I'm going to upload this. I'm tired.